I'm Chloe, a 36-year-old mom with a past marriage under my belt. I used to work as a bartender, but now I'm a stay-at-home mom to a 3-year-old boy. Life is good now, but my marriage to my ex-husband was a mess. The mess was largely because of my ex-husband, but there was actually another reason. That was my sister, who's 2 years younger than me. Jessica managed to steal my then-husband right from under my nose. This all happened 3 years ago. I ran into my ex-husband and Jessica at church, of all places, just around New Year's, about 2 months ago. When we told them that the child with us was fathered by my ex-husband, they were at a loss for words, and their faces dropped. Considering they were struggling to have a child, the disappointment was visible. It gave me a moment of relief, thinking about how they betrayed me back then. Back then, I was bartending at a well-known bar where I caught the eye of a regular customer. This was the kind of bar frequented by politicians, bureaucrats, and business moguls. I had some experience bartending elsewhere, but got this gig through a friend's introduction. After working there for a few months, I met the man who would later become my ex-husband, a government official. I was around 30, starting to think it was high time to settle down. "You're really cute. Totally my type," he told me, clearly smitten. My prestigious college background and my job at a major investment firm might have added to his interest. Honestly, I didn't care that he was a bureaucrat, but his flattery had me hooked. "I would never do anything to make a beautiful woman like you sad," he said. In hindsight, I deeply regret believing those words. Our marriage lasted only 2 years. The only time I felt happy was during the first 2 months. Despite his demanding job, my ex-husband always showed me a smiling face when he came home. But eventually, those smiles disappeared. To cut to the chase, my ex-husband was careless in his relationships with women. Believing that all social engagements were part of work, I later found out that he had been flirting with women at every party he attended. Back then, I had no idea. "You must be tired after all that networking today. Want to take a bath?" I would always say, caring and supportive. What a fantastic wife I was. But after only 6 months, he would brazenly say to me, "Stop worrying about me. Just be thankful you're living a good life because of me." Still, I convinced myself that he was just tipsy and let it slide. Looking back now, I feel like crying from the sheer effort I put into our relationship. I have a younger sister, 2 years my junior. We look nothing alike, and our personalities are polar opposites. Growing up, Jessica always wanted what I had. She would beg my mom for the same beads and hair accessories that I had in my jewelry box. Eventually, Jessica stopped asking Mom and started taking them directly from me. When I confronted her, she'd cry and say, "But everything that belongs to you belongs to me." My little sister was a bully. That little bully grew up to be an adult bully. After a year of marriage, we attended a family event at my parents' house. My husband was there too. My husband had seen Jessica a few times before, but it seemed like they had a little chat this time. I overheard him talking briefly to Jessica. "You're quite different from your sister. A different kind of beauty," I overheard him say to her. It's likely that from that moment, Jessica set her sights on my husband. After that, he seemed even more disinterested in me than before. "Hey, are you free next week? There's this restaurant I want to try." "Forget it. You know I'm not available, so why even ask?" I put up with it for a while, because we both shared the desire to have children. Love might be gone, but the desire for a child remained. However, tests at the hospital showed that the problem lay with him, not me. Despite the diagnosis, we both continued to seek treatment. In a blink, a year passed. By this point, I had stopped worrying about what my husband was doing or where he was. I knew that if I even asked him to stop, he wouldn't listen. I figured he was involved with multiple women. But I never thought one of those women would be my own sister. I was utterly blindsided. It wasn't some revelation that made me realize my husband and Jessica were having an affair. You know, sis, your marriage is pretty much over, but if you're not careful, you'll lose more than that, she hinted. What are you saying? Don't tell me you... Whatever happens, it's your fault. Seeing the naive yet malicious Jessica after so long sent chills down my spine. After that conversation, I confronted my husband to get to the truth. Hey, you're not having an affair with my sister, are you? Tell me it's not true. What if I am? Don't dodge the question. Just tell me. God, you're so annoying. Fine, yes, I am. So, what now? Want a divorce? You're the worst. Do you even realize what you're doing? You should be saying that to your sister. She's the one who came on to me. Even if she did, why would you go along with it? Well, I'm a guy, so can't help it. I can't believe you're doing this with Jessica. You know what? Fine, we're done. We were always over anyway. Bye. Even though the love was always gone between me and my husband, learning he cheated with my sister Jessica was a hard pill to swallow. And the audacity he had to casually admit it, it felt like both of them were mocking me. The frustration was unbearable. I divorced him right after this shocking truth came to light. As for Jessica, I cut her off via email and chose to put the incident behind me. About a month later, an unexpected turn came my way. A female colleague from my days working in finance reached out. We were connected on social media and occasionally exchanged messages. But it had been a long time since we had met for drinks. We caught up and had a great time. Although my story was grim, she laughed it off and mentioned someone she wanted to introduce me to. Enter Ethan, my current husband. Ethan was her investment buddy. He was just an average office worker, but had a knack for investing, managing a significant portfolio. They'd become friends through offline meetups she organized based on his investment blog. I took an instant liking to the upbeat Ethan. I've been divorced before. Is that all right? I'm still single. Is that okay? We both just had to laugh it off. Ethan seemed to think we clicked, and we started dating right away. We got married after about 6 months. Chloe, want to invest in me? Marry me. I couldn't help but laugh at Ethan's unique proposal. I believed his proposal was one where I could see us being happy together for the rest of our lives. The truth is, I was already pregnant with Ethan's child even before I got remarried. Actually, shortly after we started dating. We'd both been considering marriage, so finding out about the pregnancy sped up the timing. 2 people in love, and the precious baby that was the fruit of our love. I couldn't be happier. For our first holiday season together, let's go to church and pray for the health of our adorable baby. The fact that they arrived so quickly is proof that our meeting was destiny, don't you think? Sounds good. Yes, let's go. In the midst of my newfound happiness, something unexpected happened at the church we were attending for service. Guess who? My ex-husband and Jessica. Seeing them together for the first time in over a year, they really seemed like a married couple. I had already told Ethan all the miserable details about these two. Hey, I'm going to talk to them. Is that okay? I don't mind. You sure you're okay with it? Yeah, I'm fine. Look, I'll explain later. But can you play along that this baby is my ex's child? As my ex-husband and Jessica approached us, we pretended not to notice and went up to them. Wow, what a coincidence. It's been ages, sis. Jessica's face, which I hadn't seen in a long time, seemed even more twisted than before. How nice to see you two look so happy together. We are. We're officially married now. Nice to meet you. I've heard so much about you. Really? Like what? Anyway, why'd you go and have a baby with this guy? He doesn't look like he's got much of a future. Poor kid. Don't ever become the type of person who can only judge others by their looks or titles, okay? Ethan said this as if he was talking to the baby, but the snide remark was clearly aimed at Jessica. Bold words for a first meeting. Do you even know who I am? Of course, you're some kind of big shot, right? Nice to meet you, by the way. Do you realize that this is actually your child? At Ethan's statement, my ex-husband and Jessica froze. They seemed completely baffled. What are you talking about? Stop joking. Jessica, who was eager to have a child, looked incredibly frustrated. It turns out they still hadn't been able to have children. Actually, right after we got divorced, I found out I was pregnant. Surprising, right? Not that it's your child, but that I finally got the child I've been wishing for. I met Ethan soon after, and we got married. He agreed to raise this child with me, unlike you. You're kidding, really? Why hasn't it happened for us? Why can't we have a child? I don't know. Maybe because karma is real. Maybe if you start doing good deeds, like volunteering or donating to charities, your wishes will come true. Since you're at church, why not pray for that? You can't be serious. There's no way I can let this guy raise my special child. He comes from a line of bureaucrats. This can't happen. Both of them were completely rattled. Jessica looked like she was about to cry, frantically trying to gain some sort of upper hand over us. Look, I talked to Mom. This guy's just an office worker. Raising a child with a man who doesn't even make that much? That's just asking for this kid to be unhappy. And let's not forget, the child's biological father is from our family. Shouldn't we have the right to raise them? Am I wrong? Absolutely. And you know, even after the divorce, if you knew you were pregnant, you had a responsibility to tell me. After all, it's my child. You think a person like you can raise a child? Don't kid yourself. You don't have the right to know, let alone the right to raise this child. Hey. Stop this ugly argument in front of the baby. You abandoned Chloe and this child, remember? Just like Chloe said, you don't have any obligation to be informed or any right to be involved. Sorry, but it's true. And for your information, I might be an office worker, but I've done well in investments. I actually have more assets than you. I don't mean to brag, but... Don't worry, this child won't be unhappy. Shall we go, Chloe? Yeah, take care, especially you two, the careless womanizer and the greedy one. Ignoring the flustered and frustrated pair, we left the church. I'm sorry you got caught up in this, and thank you for going along with me. No problem at all, honestly. I'm impressed with how well I went along with it. I mean, that was some award-winning acting. I fell for you all over again. I never thought I'd end up at the church for the sake of this child, let alone run into those two there. But thanks to that, I was able to get back at my ex-husband and Jessica. I was secretly waiting for this moment. The moment I saw them at the church, it hit me. I could make them squirm with a lie, claiming the baby is from my ex-husband. I'm fully aware it's a cruel lie, generally speaking. But let's not forget the heartless things those two have done to me in the past. No regrets. It was a necessary lie to maintain my sanity going forward. Mom, you don't have to tell Jessica about me, okay? You know the situation, right? Oops, my bad, but what happened to that girl? Don't worry about it. Sorry for all the worry I've caused you. That's what I wanted to say. It's okay, as long as you're healthy and happy. You're getting along with your current partner, right? Absolutely. I'm scared of how happy I am, actually. Having daughters who've swapped the same man as their husband would have been a big worry for Mom. I was always concerned about how this could be a strain on her heart. And the fact she's living alone in the family home since my dad passed away, that's another concern for me. When I mentioned this to Ethan, he was the one who suggested we should move in with Mom. Are you sure?
I really like your mom, Chloe. She's a fun person. Living with her would be like having two Chloes around. It'll be fun.
Well, should I take that as a compliment? It made me realize how understanding he is.
Plus, Mom would be thrilled to see her grandchild every day, and we'd have an extra pair of hands to help with the kid.
I can't thank you enough, Ethan.
So, you love me even more now?
Let me think about that.
What do you mean, let me think?
The peak of happiness is still ongoing.